like I said, the return of Josh was going to be a wild ride. Now, this episode, like I mentioned previously, is going to be kind of the tangent episode. What I mean by that is Josh went off on a wild ride here. And just to kind of give you a quick overview of where this is going to go, we're going to start with some abortion statistics. Then we're going to talk about house robots, uploading your consciousness to robots, your job in heaven, Josh's spiderweb theory, Josh's drinking habits, rubber band theory, Josh invents a new word, and then we're going to have a quick talk about mental health in there. I told you this was not going to be simple. So that's why I was like, you know what? There's enough here. We're just going to make this the Josh tangent episode of things. And then we're going to continue on with Aaron's thoughts on abortion and that next week. And I find that kind of timely considering all that's going on with the leaked draft of the Supreme Court decision coming up and where people are starting to freak out about in that. So maybe we'll cover that specifically, but I want to at least put out what we had recorded previous to any of this going on. But to get there, first we need to get through here, which is Josh going on, I don't know. Like I say at part of the episode, I have to have Josh drug tested at some point.
I met Josh through Aaron, actually, because those two had been friends since, what, high school? Younger?
I mean,
Middle school, I think. I think we originally met through church.
well, I say, yeah, we knew each other at church. I mean, since kindergarten,
Yes,
for
yes,
sure. 'Cause,
yes.
well, you went to school with me in kindergarten, then left. Like, I don't know, man. You just left.
I left. I just dumb.
You packed your bags and went
I
on a
just-
journey.
Yeah,
Thought you were Bilbo Baggins.
thought you spot the height.
Right now,
Right
and this is the world. This isn't just the U. Oh, nope. This is the U.S. Sorry.
Okay.
This is the
I was hoping
U.S.
you'd say the UN.
Nope. This is the U.S. How many new births are there per 1,000 current population?
How many new births per?
I think a lot of Americans are starting to resort to the one child or two child mindset. So, give me a second.
250 250.
250 kids per 1,000?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to hear what Brewer says.
All right. So you're saying 250 per 1,000?
Yeah.
Or maybe this will be an easier question. How many births per 1,000 women?
Oh.
It just makes the number smaller
Yeah.
That's what I say. Might
and
make
the
it
outcome greater.
might make it easier.
I'll still stick with 250, I guess.
1 in 7 women will give birth to a child.
To a child, but that doesn't say how many.
So the replacement rate is 2,100 births per 1,000 women. That's how many
So it's,
children need to be born to keep our population current as it is.
Wait, hang on. Say it one
we
more
need
time.
double the amount.
2,100 births
2,100 births
per 1,000
Per-
women.
per 1,000 women.
So each
So they
girl
need
has
to be
to have at
producing
least a kid.
twins.
So each woman needs to be given. This is over the course of their lifetime.
yeah, at least 2 kids.
Okay,
Yeah. I didn't think about lifetime.
This needs to be done on a yearly spectrum, not a lifetime spectrum, because that's
Yeah.
a lot of women.
So
what?
1,000 women, you sequester those 1,000 women. Those 1,000 women to keep population as is should give birth to 2,100 kids. Okay.
Yeah.
In the U.S., we're down to 1,637 births per 1,000 women.
So,
So we're short a few hundred.
well, hang on, it ain't a bad thing here.
That means our population going down.
Yeah.
That ain't bad. Because you know what those scribes down in Georgia said, right? No more than 500 million people on the planet.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
What? I don't.
You don't know?
No.
There are these stones or a stone.
There's stones, I believe.
And they're like manuscripts. Like the Ten Commandments.
Yeah.
Manuscripts Nobody knows where they came from, or at least nobody wants to admit where they came from or reveal where they came from. But there are these stones that tell the contingencies of being able to sustain life in equilibrium on the planet Earth. And it says no more than a population of 500 million people
In the world?
in the world.
Well, we are way above that.
Yeah, so
I know.
they're called the Georgia Guidestones. They're created in 1980, and they were in Elbert County, Georgia.
And nobody knows who put them there or who wrote them.
What?
Yep.
That's
It's kind
ridiculous.
of like the
Really? Because according to this, they use a pseudonym, so yeah, they don't know the real person. R.C. Christian approached the Alberton Granite Finishing Company and commissioned the structure.
I mean, anybody can approach a company with money and say, "This is my name, Aaron Christopher Johnson." We still don't know who actually did it. Unless you can
That's
put a
ridiculous.
name to a face and name to a life, you really don't know. And for the dead, well, it don't matter. Because
Wait,
they're
they're
dead.
gone. Yeah, can't really talk to them anymore.
I guess that wouldn't be bad, but at the same time, too, it wouldn't be good. In a sense, it wouldn't be good in the standpoint of if we have less people replacing the industry, it's going to, in a sense, force the hand of the industry to go more autonomous. And I have my thumbs up and thumbs down on autonomous with the standpoint of we are not at the industry. Let's put it like this. I don't know what some of the major companies have in place to support autonomous anything. But I do know that some companies are pushing towards more emotional autonomous and in the idea of house robots. I don't support that.
House robots?
Yes. I don't.
What about, do you support Elon Musk's robots where you can download your consciousness into?
No.
I think that's
No.
impossible. I don't think that's actually your consciousness. I think that is a replicate.
A replicant of your mind.
Yes,
So a replicant.
but
Yeah.
it's not actually your conscience.
I know, but minus the soul
So
part. Minus the soul part.
Paul will exist for eternity without ever evolving one step without changing who he is. In essence, is what would have to happen.
But what if
So-
it could copy your entire neural pattern, which allows you to grow and learn?
That's impossible because that's not you.
But what if the machine version of me could?
Then it's a machine version of you, not
But
Paul.
it can still grow and learn and evolve in that way. Doesn't have. I'm not saying it has a soul. I'm not saying that,
Yeah.
because that's what one of the things Elon Musk is trying to do with the robots, and have them be like, you can
Elon.
have a robot body to walk around with. That's just kind of his ultimate goal.
Oh my gosh.
I don't have enough drinks in me
that
for this.
That would be. Yeah, you couldn't.
Sorry, that was a complete tangent on my part.
That's so weird.
Because you're like, I'm against house robots. I'm like, so what about this type of robot?
Because yeah, you can't transfer your soul from being to the robot.
Then again, Christians identify as
So
their
it's just-
soul being tied to their mind and their ability to understand, comprehend, and in a sense, react or act to the world around them. We identify our soul as being one and two with those things.
Yeah. Anyways, a lot to think
Okay.
on there.
Yeah, you can see it in his eyes right now. Just sip.
See, the only
Just-
thing
no,
that would
no,
be
no,
cool
Sip.
was if that was possible and you could be here as a robot, then there would be almost a guarantee that I'd be here for the second coming. That'd be dope.
But then the question is, are you actually here or actually in heaven?
I know that's the whole thing. But I don't care.
Yeah, and then someone forgets to plug you in, and then you die again.
No, he just has a blank in his life.
No, I die. Just let me die.
Anyways,
Please.
back to
I think the idea of us trying to upload our subconsciousness to something is movies make it look good. but I don't think we can actually effectively make it happen in real life. And if we do, I don't think it's actually true.
No, we'll see.
We'll figure that out.
And I say that in
When
a
it
sense
comes.
of I don't think it's actually us. I mean, machines can learn. Machines have the ability to take information and process specific outcomes based on the categories of outcomes they're given. They're able to, in a sense, categorize information coming into them to assert an outcome or a result or an answer based on the information they're fed.
Yeah, machine
So-
learning.
Exactly. And even very basic machine learning, zeros and ones is just in a sense a tally mark. You have this information coming into you, you tally this. You have this information coming into you, you tally this. And at the end, what?
A simplistic view of machine learning, but yeah.
But in a sense,
But that's what I said, but yeah.
machine learning simplicity. Now, trying to give machine learning the ability to comprehend and to, in a sense, give equal emotion back to society, to me, is flawed because anything touched by man is flawed. And from a religious perspective, in Christianity, we are living. Let me put it like this. I was talking to my mother one day. This episode is really off the wall, Paul. You're gonna have
He
fun.
tried to bring it back, but you're just going.
Me?
Yeah.
He brought the autonomous stuff up.
But he's trying to.
I was going off of your autonomous thing.
Kind of
When? Anyway, I was talking to my mom. And you're gonna have like several shorts out of this.
Oh, okay.
You're gonna have
go-
like 30-minute short episodes.
I should have pulled your camera out, Johnson, and let the video record.
I got it right upstairs.
I was
Shoot.
talking to my mother, my dear mother.
Oh.
I love her, and I was talking to her.
Almost there.
What?
Nothing. Keep going.
Keep going.
What?
No, we'll tell you later.
I was talking to her, and one of the questions that we had was, "Do you want me to keep going, or do you want to make a
Yeah.
separate episode?"
No, keep going. Sorry.
We can make a separate episode on this. One of the things I was talking to her on is, what is the difference between heaven and earth in a sense of freedom of choice?
Okay.
And the question is we have freedom of choice on earth. What negates whether or not we're going to have freedom of choice in heaven? And what, in a sense, is the reasoning for freedom of choice on earth? Because God says we have the freedom to choose, right?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, this will turn into an episode. So
Go
you
for
want
it.
me to keep? Okay.
So gosh.
Well, I think we're 2 hours and 15 minutes on the current episode.
Into this.
We're at 3:23 total record time so far.
Oh my god.
This is another episode.
We're on part 2 of 4 of episode 1.
Okay, so
This is ridiculous.
I was talking to my mother, and I was like, so what is the difference between heaven and earth in the stands of free choice? We get to heaven and we have the ability to choose, but we're given jobs based on our, in a sense, report record of how we behaved on earth. And so the question is this is literally a 45 to an hour and 15 discussion with my mom. And at first I was scaring the crap out of her, and then she understood my mindset.
That's
And
scary.
All right, explain your mindset. I want to hear this.
what on earth is keeping me from choosing heaven or hell, and what in heaven is keeping me from choosing heaven or hell?
Okay, you're going to have to explain.
That's my mom for probably about 45 minutes of discussion. And I said to myself,
if your mom's anything like me, she's like, okay, where did I leave the holy water?
that's your mom. My mom's like, where did I screw
But
up?
you're the male version of my mom in a younger body.
Yeah.
Anyways, and so I was talking to her, and I was like, so the question I have is, you have Earth, right? You're given the ability to choose freely. And how I paint together the idea of free choice, and not, because the phrase is when you grow up in church is, he knows everything you're going to do and what you would do.
Yep.
And the when I was young, I was like, how is that even possible? If he knows the next steps I'm going to do, how is it free choice?
I get that, but it's just that's one of the things I feel like we can't fully wrap our minds on and understand, because it's like he is already the beginning and the end. So
Yes.
he knows how it all started, he knows how it all finishes. But so it's just he just knows what we're gonna do before we do it. It's not that he commanded that to happen. He just knows what's gonna happen. That's how I think about that, I guess, as of right now.
That's the most you've said this whole time.
I know, because you're talking. I'm just kidding.
And I guess it kind of comes to the point of my mindset thinking, okay, free will, I guess, needs to be differentiated between free choice. Free will is your desire. Free choice is your decision. So to me, I think how the church has properly and improperly described things, and I could be completely flipped, to be honest with you, but I think my ability to choose between right and wrong in a situation should not be reflected or be an example of my end goal in life, aka the will. God's will is for every single child born on this earth to choose him. But that's not every single child's choice. You see what I mean with the mindset there?
Yeah.
I mean, you can sit. Yeah, I would love that for every single person in the United States of America, I'm going to start with the United States, would simply sit there and lift Christ as the true one person and would want to put their life and how they treated everything in life to the Bible and use that as the example. But that's their choice. So my will for the United States may be complete and utter sacrifice to the Christ, but their choice may be anything else. So when I think of free choice and I think of Christ's will, I think of two different things. I think Christ's will as in he knows your life and he knows what you're going to choose and he hopes you choose the best path. That's where I bring in the example, the spiderweb method.
Oh yeah, I remember.
I've told you, anybody who looks at a spiderweb has a center.
Yeah.
And to me, whenever I've looked at a spiderweb, you tend to see the spider around the center of the spiderweb. And as the spiderweb gets farther and farther and farther from the center,
you have more paths.
You see more and more paths, but the spacings get wider and wider and wider.
Okay, you haven't gotten this far into it before.
So, like, if you were to look at your hand and see your palm as the center point of the spider web, okay? And then you were to look at the tip of your fingers, now envision something going from tip to tip to tip to tip. Okay?
Spider-Man.
You notice how the distance between the edge of your palm or the beginning of your fingers is not as great as the distance between the tip of your fingers to each other versus the palm.
Okay.
In a sense, when you spread your hand out, you create multiple V's.
Wow.
My mindset is God knows every single point in your life, every single situation you may be in, based on the choices that you choose. Human capacity can only see things at the center. So when we try to think futuristic, each path in the spiderweb gets wider and wider and wider with these little like mini episodes in between or mini examples of life in between, but we can't entirely choose or understand what happens in that point in life until that point that we choose or that string of web we choose to walk down is actually our palm or aka the center of the spider web. God knows the end. He sees the end. He can predict any and every single path that you can take in life. But
so God can see the multiverse, and we're stuck in our own one little universe.
I guess you could say that. Yeah.
Perspective.
No.
No. In all honesty, I'll be 100% honest. That is the only way that I can comprehend the ability between God's will and freedom of choice.
What is wrong, Aaron?
No!
Why are you saying no?
Because I'm thinking. Okay, maybe I have the wrong. Maybe I'm thinking of the multiverse incorrectly. Because all of a sudden, it made me think back to like a conversation I've had with a worker in the past, and he was saying like one idea of his that in dreaming, you're just living in the life of another, like yourself.
You're another Aaron in a different
in a
multiverse.
Yes. Right. So that's what I was thinking. I was like, there can't be more of me out in the universe somewhere. I was only me.
I was thinking along the lines of like Spider-Man Into the Multiverse.
Right. Well,
Where
there's multiple Spider-Mans,
multiple Peter Parkers and all that across.
but they're different.
They're different in some sort of way.
What if?
No, I don't want
ready,
to.
ready.
No, I don't. I don't.
What if God's power of choice and the ability to view choice was so powerful that it was actually something that was projected?
So a simulation.
In a sense, yes.
That's the theory too, that we live in a simulation.
So in other words,
I'm gonna have you both drug tested.
I know him. Not me.
Human. That's a human perspective of simulation. Let's say God is so powerful that his thoughts are actually projected into reality and life and creation of itself. What if his thoughts are that powerful?
Wait, what?
How much have you had to drink?
Yeah, I'm confused.
No, I'm just saying.
No, I know where he's going with this, but I mean, how much?
Not that much. I'm a regular with vodka and lemonade.
Yeah, he is now. Oops.
Like, in all honesty,
He's Russian.
beers.
Got it.
Whoa, hang on. Beers give you that ad bod. Vodka and rum, not so much.
Rum's still not good.
But I drink more vodka than I do rum.
Vodka is better than rum.
Yeah. So I'll take like one of those Crystal Light packages, put it in
Like
2/3 water, 1/3 vodka,
Yeah.
mix it up, throw some ice cubes in it.
Yeah.
That's my drink for the evening.
Yeah.
This is literally thoughts I had with my mother, my poor mother. She
Yeah.
literally
I'm reaching out
literally
to her after this.
watched my mother grow with great concern as I was asking these questions.
Did you explain the spiderweb thing to her?
I did.
Your poor mother.
Yes.
I have said your poor mother to both you and Aaron now.
But hear me out.
Okay.
The ending conversation that I had with my mother
Okay. Let's
is
hear
something of conclusion. Oh, I actually think it was like an hour and 30 minutes that we were talking now.
about a spiderweb in your hand.
No, about the mindset between free choice and Christ. Well,
Yeah.
because standard Christian prayer is let your will be done. It's usually how we'll end it. Standard Christian prayer.
Yeah, and there's two minds in theological ways you go about free will and predetermination. There's the Calvinistic view of things. There's the Armenian way of things. The Armenian is essentially you could do whatever you want as long as it falls within essentially the things outlined in the Bible. It doesn't contradict anything with the Bible. It doesn't contradict God in any way.
Right.
Whereas the Calvinist is that more, I guess you could say even more that spiderwebby. It's like, hey, you have these paths that you're going along.
Yeah.
Where the Armenian is more, hey, look, here's this big open field. Go.
Right.
I guess in my mindset,
I like the
But
trying.
as I say, before you continue on, because I know you got some stuff. But that being said, those are even those are simplistic views of that sort of stuff, and that honestly, like a lot of things in life, the truth probably lives somewhere in between.
Which is understood, especially living in a sinful world, and I'll get to that mindset at the end of the road here. But in a day-to-day mindset of trying, because my struggle, I'll be honest, my struggle with Christianity for a while is trying to comprehend the fact that we have freedom of choice, but God knows every single path that we can take, which then begs the question, which I think the question was asked from somebody who was more atheist in the Christian world. How do I put it? The question is, the question
What is the question?
Yeah.
How do you have freedom of choice if God knows your next steps?
Okay, here's my question then. Can you change God's mind?
Ooh. that one.
Can you nuke God's
I like
plan?
That one.
I would
No.
assume no.
No.
Really?
I mean, he frickin' made me.
Yeah. Wait,
One
what
of the
I guess
things-
what do
so-
you mean by nuke God's plan?
Okay, let me put it-
Well,
I guess-
let's
that-
go ahead and go with can you change God's mind?
Can you change his mind?
Mm-hmm. Are there any examples that you could think of in the Old Testament
Yeah.
where
Yes.
someone would pray and beg God and God says, okay, I won't do that anymore then?
That did happen.
Oh, interesting.
One of the things.
But
Wait.
then he would. I guess so. I wonder. So that happens, yes. But did he know that was going to happen?
You're questioning the creator?
No. He already.
hell he go. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm going to hurt you.
That's cursing you. I'm not going to curse you.
That's the real definition of cursing. There we go.
Thank you.
But like, would that be something that he already knew that was going to happen?
That's a good question then at that point. Was that one of those things of to take it to Josh's land?
Yeah.
Was that a spider path? Or not?
I don't know.
To be 100% honest, the spider path to me is the ability because my problem early on in my walk with Christ was trying to identify the fact that, God has this plan for everyone and everything. That's point A. Point B. We have freedom of choice to choose to be with God against God. Point C, which is a very common thing our parents believe. Only certain people will go to heaven, and a lot of people won't.
I mean, I wouldn't say that's just that's something that's said in the Bible.
But I'm just saying that's where I hear it the most. I don't hear it amongst our generation. I hear it amongst our parental generation. Is speaking of that. I know your mom has said that. My mom has said that.
That only so many people are going to heaven?
Yes.
Well, yeah. I mean, the Bible warns you about that.
I understand that, and
Yeah.
that's where because when they talk about the will of Christ, we talk about submitting to Christ. But then I remember this. I can't remember where I learned this. Oh no! It's when you and I went to no.
Please say Alaska.
No, not Alaska. Not Alaska. I can't remember if it's when we went to Ohio.
I would say Camp Electric because
Camp Electric?
I don't remember anything from.
Or
Camp
if it was
Electric.
something that I went to back when I was a part of the church's younger youth group back when I was in middle school. Elementary, I think more so. And it was called the rubber band theory. I can't remember when in my life I was learned about. I was taught about this. But the rubber band theory in Christ is the mindset of, let's say you take two fingers, okay, two index fingers or two pointer fingers, whatever you want to choose. Two
Two
pinkies,
fingers.
two thumbs. Well, yeah, thumb's not a finger, but anyways. And what you do is you put a rubber band between them.
Yeah.
And the concept is this: you put them right next to each other, and you have no tension amongst the rubber band.
Okay.
Okay, that is a moment of question with Christ. You don't feel God tugging you forward or backwards, sideways, left and right. You don't feel any sort of, in a sense, direction from the Lord. And the idea is when you don't feel direction from the Lord, He wants you to be confident in yourself through Christ to take the next step yourself. So, in other words, if you take a step forward, or AKA away from your body, if you actually put a rubber band between your two thumbs or whatever fingers you choose, if you move one hand forward, that's representing that you're taking a step away, in a sense, from God, or you're taking a step. Let's put it like that. If you feel tension on the rubber band, indications are the tension is representing as Christ saying, I'm not 100% fan of where you're going. I have a better path for you. So then you would bring that hand back. But the idea behind the tension of the rubber band is that if you take a step forward and you don't feel tension, chances are you're going the path that God actually wants you to go. So keep going.
I feel like I haven't heard that before.
Yeah, I would actually counter that. And
Go ahead, because
I-
this is something I heard when I was
because
a kid.
tension is how we grow. Tension
Right.
that's the thing that stretches us a lot.
No.
That's the thing that makes us change.
The tension in which I'm referring to, though, is the tension of, AKA, the direction of God.
Right. I
mean,
get that.
it's like you choosing another job and you feeling this internal tug that you should go back to your current job.
Yeah, but
That's the tension I'm talking
but I
about.
mean, stretching can come from learning something new about God, trusting in Him to go maybe on that mission trip or to start that Bible study, to do those things that are maybe make you a little less comfortable than you normally do. Not every tension, so to speak, has to be a large test of like, are you able to go and present your faith to a large conference of people? It may be just taking that next step and talking to your friend or talking to someone like that.
I think the differencing in which we need to kind of figure out is uncomfortability. I guess the tension and what I'm referring to is kind of the pull on the heart versus the
Comfortability.
of one's soul.
Well, and
Christ calls us to be uncomfortable for Him.
right.
Right. And I think that's different in what I'm kind of trying to pinpoint. And I guess I got to find a better way of describing what I'm talking about.
Yeah, because when I think of a rubber band, right? Let's say you have
Yeah.
a rubber band between two fingers, right?
Uh-huh.
You pull it, you feel that stretch, you feel that tension. What happens when
Correct.
you start moving the fingers back? You feel that tension less, right?
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, and at least this is for me. I'm sure other people can attest to that. If something comes along where that's new, that's stretching you a little bit. When I say stretching, that like something that you're doing different outside of your norm, right? The first time you encounter that, that's going to be a stretch. Second,
Yes.
third, fourth, fifth, the fingers get closer and closer, less and less stretch. It's less and less tension each time. It's not so much where leading you to, because you don't use the rubber bands really to lead to. You use it really to contain that tension of that stretch, of that change.
So I guess our mindsets are kind of split on this. And granted, this is something that I was taught years ago, and I can't remember where it was from, but it stuck with me long enough that I remember the principles on it. But I agree with you. But I agree with you on a different mindset. Being uncomfortable for Christ. When you're comfortable, what are you advancing? What are you changing? What are you benefiting when you're comfortable for Christ? The idea, the American society, American mentality is to try to be as comfortable as possible, make the money so that you can fund the hobbies you like, fund the activities you like, without getting into confrontation, without getting into a situation where you possibly lose it. And that's complete opposite of Christian mindset, even from a psychological or a friendship, not even touching into the physical realm, because financial realm, because the financial realm could become completely separate of the mental, physical realm in what you would call Christianity uncomfortability. To me, it's kind of like the direction of your walk with Christ, I guess. Not necessarily. It's hard because I can differentiate the two, but it's hard describing it to somebody that wasn't there at the age that I was listening to what it was. And I don't think you were there. Now that I think about it, I don't think you were there. I'm trying to remember where it was, but I think it was down in like Illinois or Ohio, but it wasn't Camp Electric. I know that for sure because I'm trying to remember it. Maybe it was actually.
I don't know.
And you just, I want to keep saying
I was so focused on
Kingdom
just going to
here,
concerts.
the whole
I can't
stomping by, what's that band?
Run Collective.
Run Collective. And I keep thinking about that in the memory, but I don't know for sure if that was part of the memory. It's that long ago. But I think
You're not that old.
I was gonna say we're just.
it's old enough where you start forgetting stuff.
When they something stronger.
I'm
kidding.
Real
I'm
quick.
kidding.
But in a sense of your walk with Christ versus your mission for Christ, I think is probably what it's more along the line of. Because you have your walk with Christ.
Yeah.
which is you, and you related. Whether that incorporates your mission for Christ, that is different. So when I say mission for Christ, I'm talking about your outreach, your impact, your influence, your outside of your normality. And when I think of the elastic idea of you pulling and you feeling tension, it's like God saying, come back, or God saying, you need to catch up, versus God saying, you need to come here, I want you to go there.
I think of it almost like, okay, this is gonna sound wrong. I always think of it like a kid who's on like a leash tethered to their parent. It's not so
Yeah.
much a rubber band. It's the parent moved over here. It's like, here's where I want you to go next. And then kind of pulls on the tether and says, come on, Josh, come on.
You know they have those, right?
Yes, I know they have those.
And they're actually elastic. Did you know that, Aaron?
No, I didn't know they're elastic, but
No,
like I have one from,
like-
I have something like that for my dog. It goes around my waist, but it's not elastic. And I could tether her to me and pull her with me where I want her to go. I'm just imagining now Josh with triplets of that running around.
I would need that. I would.
They'd
Three
be dragging him
directions, two
along.
people to manage.
No.
Always getting
Amy's
the
gone on a vacation. It's just you.
Don't.
Well,
come to
I
me.
am buying you guys lunch and dinner for a weekend. I'm just saying.
I'm taking vacation when Amy's taking vacation.
So am I.
Yeah.
Then I'm hiring Xena.
No, she goes to daycare and gets to be
She's got her
babysat.
own things.
Oh, she'd be tired by the end of the weekend. Trust me.
No. Week, not weekend.
Yeah, weak, bro.
Anyways, so when I kind of think of that, that tug and pull, that's what it kind of comes to
Okay.
me. Is just like you have your personal walk with Christ, and then you have your outside walk with Christ. Because ultimately, you want to focus on your internal walk with Christ before you focus on your outward walk in Christ. Because if you're sitting there and you're trying to preach to, in the phrase of preach to the thousands,
Yeah.
and you have no heart, it's empty.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
It's fake. It's
The part where I'll say maybe change a little bit and is where you have external community that is necessary for you to be able to grow internally.
true.
Because without that external community, that's not necessarily a community that you're preaching to or serving. It's mutual, both bi-directional community. That is completely essential. But other than that, yeah, I get what you're saying. Johnson, do you have any thoughts on this?
My mind hurts.
Well,
My mind is very, I guess, simplistic.
Jelly.
Dude, I haven't had any of those kind of thoughts before, I don't think.
okay.
Well,
So whether your
well-
faith is a spider web or a rubber band,
Let me put it like this.
I like the rubber
This
band.
is the wrong conversation. And I'm pretty sure we could totally find another podcast to incorporate this mindset more, do more research, and kind of incorporate this more, because I know this is kind of like just like
this is off the top of Josh's head at this basically summarizing his hour and a half conversation with his poor mother.
Has it really? Holy frick. So I guess to summarize this, we could probably dive
Mom.
deeper in it down the road.
Poor mom.
After the hour and a half conversation with my mom,
Oh,
and I literally watched my mom
freak.
sit. Yes,
Lose it.
I literally watched fear come over her face, like as in, what has my boy compensated from my life of giving him Christ? Like, what?
What is he
What
learning?
did I tell him, and how did he receive it? Pretty much.
Yeah.
We kind of came to the choice of, because ultimately at the end of the day, we were kind of talking about like heaven,
Yeah.
Okay.
like the freedom of choice in heaven, and what's the difference?
What's the freedom of choice in heaven going to look like?
And we came down to the conclusion of this. We came down, and I kind of like the issue is you have. I'm not going to say mystical, because it is a form of reality. It's just a reality that our human minds can't comprehend. So I
Okay.
use the term mystical because even mystical stories of history and whatnot, what they're proven is true, what is proven untrue, what is a mystery, it's something that we just can't comprehend in today's footprint.
Okay.
Whether or not we can comprehend it down the road or whatnot. And history has always been taught to people and their ability to comprehend at that time. Like, for example, somebody might say that we can comprehend less history today than we can before because we're constantly filling our minds with all sorts of other stuff. Or because of how we're taught, we're told to believe that something is false and something is true, and something is true, something is false. Anyways, at the end of the day, my mother and I,
Yeah.
we sat there when we were talking about God's will, freedom of choice, and then freedom of choice in heaven. The differentiating factor was the devil.
Okay.
And the freedom of choice today is different than the freedom of choice in heaven. God's will is God's will. He wants as many people to believe in him, to devote to him, to come to him, to serve him as possible.
Yes.
And the reason why he left that as an opening after Adam and Eve is because of one thing in particular. Satan existed. Lucifer existed, and he existed on the earth in which he created to be a sacred thing. And when Lucifer had fallen, he had fallen to earth because he was too impure to remain in heaven, in a sense. Now, I'm sort of adding a little to here to try to make it. When I'm saying I'm adding a little bit to the thought versus what my mother and I had conversated. But in essence, freedom of choice is different on earth than it is in heaven because Satan exists on earth. He cannot exist in heaven. He's too impure to exist in heaven.
Yeah, as of now, yes, in his current form as
Yes.
Satan. So let me ask this then.
Oh, no.
Previous to the fall then, was there freedom of choice in heaven?
That part of the story wasn't written because humans didn't exist.
Well, you have some clues about that when it talks about in other chapters of the Old Testament, where it talks about the fall of Satan and that, where essentially it was his pride that caused him to fall. So that's why I go, okay, at that point then, is it freedom of choice then that changed afterwards? Or how did that happen? It's like,
Yeah,
I'm not asking for an answer at this point.
No,
It's just
and
it's
I
a
think-
rhetorical question. A rhetorical question.
Oh, I 100% agree, and I think that's part of the beauty of Christianity. Is there some things that are left and stored to be able to? I guess I think there's some things in the story and the life of Christianity and the life of humans that's best left unstored because God wants us to understand how unique we are amongst each other by the different thoughts and conclusions that we have about the story and about creation of life.
Yeah,
I
because
think he leaves that open for us to, in a sense, to look at Paul and say, Paul thinks about it this way. Why don't I think about it that way? Or Aaron thinks about it this way. Why don't I think about it that way?
there are certain parts that are covered in the Bible and they say, okay, this is the theology behind it.
But I think that's
For those parts that have that.
But I think that's also part of the idea that we're made in his image, in which a sense of God has comprehension and the ability of being able to imagine a far greater than human comprehension. And we, in a sense, are limited based on our vessels.
I just love watching your face, Paul. Sorry.
Right? No, I mean, do you agree? Do you not agree? I mean, I guess...
No. I'm just listening. Go on.
So our vessels may limit aspects of our ability to picture things, right? But in heaven, are we going to have that limitation? I mean,
Yes.
on earth, we're limited to what our bodies can do. In
Well,
heaven, are we going to have that issue?
Going back to your thing of mind linked to soul, and soul is what our being is, and soul is what goes to heaven. would that limitation then still exist if mind equals soul?
I don't think so.
Okay, interesting.
I mean, think about it. We're in a world that's surrounded by one thing and one thing only: the devil, temptation. They go hand in hand. He doesn't want us to acknowledge and believe in Christ and believe in God the Father, because if we do, that's just more people to go into heaven. He knows he's gonna lose. He knows he's gonna disappear. Right?
Not disappear, but yeah.
But I mean, if humans had the comprehension and the ability to comprehend Christ, God, and the Holy Spirit, there would in a sense be no question of what the devil was. We wouldn't have to have question of the devil deceiving us and tempting us to do something like cut our hand open in the middle of a podcast.
Why are you gripping the cleaver like that?
I'm just making.
Just testing its sharpness.
Yeah. No,
I mean, think about it. You wouldn't be tempted if you had the ability to sit there and go, God is the Father, I believe in him and only him.
Well, no, I mean, I have that belief, but I mean, we still have to. Well, we still have to rely on God.
Oh, I'm not saying. I'm saying we don't have to rely on him, but think about it. I mean, I'm trying to think of an example in your life that might make sense.
My life doesn't make sense. So
Yeah.
Okay, emo.
leave me alone, Paul.
What's a cause you're passionate about? Let me ask you that.
Nothing.
Well, what's something you're passionate about?
It's changing.
What's something you're passionate about? Paul, what are you passionate about? What is something that you find so easy in your life to just cling to do, to think, to?
Okay, is that because you said two different things there?
Ooh,
Passionate about or things I can do easily.
Okay. So
yeah, right. I was.
all right, let me put it like this.
Uh-oh.
What's something in your life that you don't have to think twice about to do?
That I don't have to think twice about to do.
You enjoy doing, you enjoy working with.
Again, two different things.
You're never gonna get it.
I'm never going to get it.
No.
So I'm going to make this simple for you. Okay. Passionate about is different than what I can do easily, which is different than what I can do, what I enjoy. Those are three different categories for me. So I'm going to answer the passionate about question. Okay. Is that what you want?
I guess in my mind, it's different than his mind. So
That's why I gave you my examples.
So if you name all three, okay, I may be able to draw a conclusion to all of them. To therefore, ask
I don't believe
Aaron.
it.
Oh,
Go for it.
They're all three. They're not connected.
Yeah.
What I can do easily without even thinking about it is technology. What I do with that I'm passionate about, that I enjoy doing, is working in finding ways to figure out how to do things like in the mental health field, especially for Christians and that. What I enjoy doing, that is a completely different thing. That is just laying down and listening to music or volunteering.
Yeah.
That's what I said. Those three things are so desperate. Why did I almost say desperate? They're not desperate.
Different.
They're so different from one another, that they don't exactly overlay. That's why I said, which one do you really want?
You have technology, mental health, and music volunteering.
Yeah.
So technology was easy.
Yeah, that's easy.
Mental health was
Passionate.
The passion.
And music was
That was the
enjoyable
things I like to do.
okay.
That's what I said. Those are three separate things for me.
So technology to you comes easy. It's just as fluent. It's like a second language, maybe even a first language. And then you have mental health, where's the passion because you feel like it's not touched enough.
Also, it impacted me personally. So yes.
Right.
But it's also not something that's not evaluated enough. And I agree too. I think mental health both in not only life or death scenario, but at the same time too differentiated scenario, if that makes sense. In a sense of everything is compared to normality, and normality is 50% of the population or more. So when you have a mental health situation, life or death situation, which is more of
Well,
what you targeted, right?
Well, no, I'm talking to all mental health
Yeah.
because there's
Okay.
the mental health is a wide ranging
Yeah.
topic with a lot of
So-
implications and a lot of things.
So, in a sense of, I guess, could you classify mental health as two different things, life or death, or differentiate
No,
different?
they're all connected together because yes, there's going to be those crisis moments that are going to happen where there's that life and death, but that's not where the majority of mental health is. The majority of mental health stuff that is going on and taking place is not related to that immediate life death crisis situation.
Okay, so you are targeting more of the life or death, right?
Uh-uh.
No, you're targeting the
General mental
trying
health.
to make it more normal.
Not so much, I wouldn't say normal. Trying to make it more that it's even acknowledged.
It's awareness.
It's awareness of it. Because if you say normal, that makes okay. This is a side tangent with that one. There's a lot of people in that field that if you try to make it say normal, then you make them feel like it's abnormal, and then a whole other. It's a thing
I
of
know what you
words.
mean.
It's a thing of words.
Yeah.
But essentially awareness to it. Because to be honest, there's a lot of people, especially in some of the older generations, let's say, like my mom's generation and such,
Yeah.
not where mental illness is not a thing that exists. It's a defect, be it spiritually or mentally to them. Not, hey, this is something that needs to be treated with medicine, therapy, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So when I say in general and kind of generalize it in that it's the fact that there's awareness of it, that the fact that it does affect a large percentage of the population and does affect them differently. Because how you get treatment or how you act, whether it be depression, whether it be suicidal ideation, whether it be bipolar, whether it be, schizophrenia, any of those other things, the treatment methods, the identification, the classification, and the ways to get help for it are all completely different. And a lot of people look at it and say and classify all mental health as one thing when it really isn't. But that being said, to be fair and honest, there's a lot of mental health conditions that go together.
Technology is easy for you.
Yes.
Mental health is your passion. Music is something you like to do. Mental health and music is kind of probably like your hobby. You enjoy doing it on the side.
Well, music is more listening to. And
Yeah.
Okay.
And as I was telling Aaron, I've discovered I've listened to a lot more emo music than I realized in my life.
So,
Which I guess
you're
next time I'm out in public, I have to wear mascara or something like that.
so your
do it.
side gig would, in a sense, be
It'd be more mental health stuff.
More mental
Yeah.
health. Because I'm using the music to relax. Like that's laying in bed, cuddling with the dog, listening to music, relaxing.
After a long day of doing this.
which for some people would be a bottle of liqueur
Or sniffing liqueur.
That would
or
be-
sniffing liqueur.
I was just curious because they all smell relatively similar, but they all taste very
If
different.
you become
To a point.
a
Connoisseur? No.
liqueur connoisseur,
Connoisseur.
then that makes sense.
Maybe.
But if by the time you're 60, you're not a connoisseur and you just like sniffing alcohol,
I'm going to call you Biden.
Hey, better a bottle of booze than little kids.
I got Josh.
and Aaron just added to it.
I know. I heard. I'll be dead, but I'll leave it in my will to call you Biden.
Oh, no. I don't. So wrap it up. Let's get this one done. Shoot, we're not even talking we're not even talking about abortion anymore.
Dude, I don't even know where we are.
We ended abortion. We were about to move on to guns, and then ta-da!
Spiritual conversation came up.
Spiritual, mental
Ish.
health.
Anyways, continue on.
By the way, I don't support abortion. Just so y'all know.
No, in all fairness, though,
Yeah.
just from a high view, organic like this, perfectly good.
Okay.
It's great.
All right.
Continue on.
Do you want me to add something for abortion? Because I'll add something for
No,
abortion.
you already talked about abortion. You're done.
Oh, okay.
And
I actually
shouldn't
have
say
no
that, but-
idea where I left off. You can add that.
Oh boy.
Well, I mean, it's been so long ago.
Oh, I thought you meant just now, not the abortion thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Oh, that's okay. That's where I was too.
Okay,
Oh,
continue on.
No. I was talking about the abortion thing. I don't know where I
Oh, yeah.
necessarily
No.
effectively left off my
same.
opinion of the abortion thing. Anyways, so technology is easy. Mental health is passion.
And music is
Relaxant.
But we'll pull that out of the scenario. A defect is not well. All these side shots keep losing my train of thought. All right, Aaron, what comes easy to you?
What comes easy to me?
Yeah, what is a passion for you?
Well, see again the different things. Passion, music.
Is it your passion? Because you can have it as the same thing.
Can be, yeah. Well, wow. It can be the same thing.
Yeah, it can be.
But it's I wouldn't say it's easy. I can't think of what's Velcro.
Okay. Velcro comes easy to you.
I guess so. I don't know. Shoot, I mean you could almost say music for all three of them for me.
Okay.
Music / I mean
How are you with teaching?
terrible.
Terrible. You just don't have the patience.
No, I just don't have the knowledge.
Okay, so I guess the question is it because you taught my brother some drums
little
for a
bit.
while?
Yeah.
Is it that you just
It's I know
evaluate yourself on teaching him drums? Is it he didn't comprehend what you taught well? Do you not feel like you taught him enough? Do you not kind of like be a critic of yourself?
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm always critical of myself.
I'm not looking.
I know yeah. I know basics of drum stuff.
Yeah, you were
That's-
taught by
that's
one
about
of the
it.
bass drummers, and we're singing Wisconsin.
No, yeah. So it's like I pretty much I can do the basics to a point, but then after that, it's like I can only go so far. So
No,
yeah.
is it the basics that you know because you've practiced them so long,
Oh well, I mean it's just
and therefore you,
point,
in
yeah.
a sense, instilled confidence in the basics, and
Yeah,
or is it
and the
a
basics
lack,
are just easy to go over.
and or is it a lack of confidence
Oh
in the expert level that you do not have? Because
Because there's a difference between you can have somebody that's knowledgeable
Cap-
in stuff but can't play it.
it's easy for somebody to
So I can talk more
the
than
talk and not walk the walk.
yeah for drums, yeah.
Oh, anything physical related is easy
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
Now, if it is verbal, we're talking about something that you can't reenact, something that you can't reintroduce into society or recreate. Anybody can talk the talk in a sense. But the talk being question and proving right is a different story. But in your sense, you can do the basics.
Oh yeah.
But do you have the confidence to perform the more advanced and expert material?
Well, expert, no. More
Why?
advanced than basic, yeah.
So is it a lack of confidence?
No, it's just like. See, that's the weird thing, is because like I can teach basic stuff, but then maybe to a point I can play more advanced stuff to a point. So, like, I don't know. That's kind of weird. Why, Paul? Why is that like that? Just kidding. I can play stuff, but I won't exactly know what I am doing. I can explain the easy stuff, but I can't explain everything that I can play necessarily.
So
So I'm just not a good teacher. beyond the
You like
beginnings.
musician.
What's
Music.
music?
You like music in general.
Yeah.
That is like a passion to you.
Yeah.
You just, it's something that flows through one side of you, flows to the other, but in a sense of expressing it to a younger person or maybe an older person, some less
Just somebody that's
experienced,
someone that's new into it.
you have a harder time of understanding how to translate it.
I suppose there's that, but then it's like it's one of those things where I don't know what to say. It's easy to explain some of the basic methods in music or playing drums and stuff like that, but I can't necessarily. I can play beyond a beginner's level, but I can only teach. I only feel comfortable teaching more of a beginner level. As soon as you get into advanced stuff, because there's so much stuff with like technique and all this other stuff that I have no idea about. I've just kind of just did it and played as I went on, and what I do is what I do. So I don't have a good form or knowledge of technique and stuff like that and all that. I can just tell you, all right, this is what this is called. This is how you play it, and go from there.
So, music is easy for you.
To a point ish.
Music is passion.
Yes.
All
Is
technology, anything technology related, is easy. Mental health
health.
and information around that and
this is passion.
outreach is a passion.
Okay.
Okay. By the way, I'm interested to see where this is going.
Yeah, I have no idea.
idea.
You talked about this going into like, oh, I can combine all this stuff.
Well, whenever okay, see that's just it.
He's you know what? I'm sitting at the most woke conversation I've ever had. This is some wokeism I've never heard before.
Honestly, I'll be 100% honest with you. Paul started going down the mental health aspect, and I'm like trying to sit there and remember. I'm like, what did we speak about prior to this? And then I was like, well, I'm just gonna keep going, and I'm gonna like ask Aaron about what's easy, what's passionate from, and I'm like, well, hopefully I remember where we're going with this.
And you don't. There was nothing for that.
No,
Josh.
it's all derailed.
I honestly don't remember where it was going, so I was just gonna go with it, hoping that you would chime in to like rescue the conversation. I was gonna simply put that what's easy for me is anything hands-on.
Yeah.
In a sense of I can quickly and easily watch a YouTube video and give or take a few minutes to 10, 20 minutes, I can kind of apply it and process that, whatever it is, hands-on. Minus anything that's like technology related. I mean, I can figure that out too, but I probably am not even close to as fluent as you are with that. But at the same time, too, technology related. I'm not implementing the same procedures and the same processes or even remote to things that you have done so often that it's ingrained in your head. Like for me, if I were to tear my computer apart, change the boot up drives and the change fans and stuff like that, it would probably take me a day or two to figure out and to have put in place. To you, it would probably take you 30 minutes.
Yeah, it depends.
My computer's not complex by any means. Very simple, very straightforward. It's got, 2 SSDs and 1 HDD. I mean, for the most part, my computer compared to other computers is very straightforward. So, but again, hands-on stuff comes easy to me, in my opinion.
Okay.
Stuff to where it's like mathematics and anything paper related to where you have to rely on something written on paper, printed on paper to be your source of information. I'm not good with it. I mean, if I have to, I'll figure it out. But if you show me this is how it works and I have to recreate that, and you show me the right process in repairing something that is not broken and I have to fix something that is broken, I can do it. I'd figure it out. I'd make it work again. But my passion, I think, would be teaching. And again, that's where I was gonna go, but I can't remember where we were going with it. I'm trying to think. Where was I going with that? Because you had the whole freedom of choice thing. And what's the difference between on earth freedom of choice and freedom of choice in heaven? And the jobs that we're signing in heaven is, I'm adding this. The jobs that we're signing in heaven are based on how we treat our earth jobs.
Which might be where you were diverting into.
You're right.
I'm sorry, I cannot rescue you from this.
He said, I'm sorry, I can't rescue you from this.
This was 28 minutes of hearing what our passions and things are. Beyond that,
I got nothing.